Welcome, traveler. You have summoned the Phoenix Gate, or it has summoned you. This gate appears when you are closer to a life shift than you realize, and your resistance is the only thing slowing it down. I am the Golden Rose, priestess and psychopalm through this liminal space. This reading is about where you take your life back. If you are ready for the truth, the crossing begins. What is my viewer's current energy? Obviously, very excited if I were to go off the state of my dog, who is also in the room. Very excited and vibrant. What is the state of my viewer? 1 or 2 cards, please. 1 or 2. That is way too many, but I do acknowledge this storm. It is kind of stormy here today, both in mood and in the weather. All right, I accept. 3 it is. The riddle, something to be solved. The shadow, something we are repressing or not acknowledging. And the kiss, something intimate. So, there is something within your ability to connect or feel intimate with others, to experience relationship in a healed and healthy fashion that you are trying to figure out. So you are dealing with your core wounding, like your parental wounds, in order to figure out and still unravel what is impacting your relationships. Bottom of the deck to confirm was the Lover. So you are seeking some internal resolution in your relationship struggles, challenges, difficulties. There's going to be grief in this. Grief and loss is really, really significant in what impairs our ability to feel safe and secure in connection. So probably dealing with a lot of safety and security in your shadow work, which means your life may be reflecting situations and triggers around your feeling of safety and security. So your environment is probably reflecting your internal condition to some degree. What unresolved emotion fuels this pattern? Let's see what this brings up. The question was not quite the question I was going to ask, but it is the one that came into my head and wanted to be asked. So I am not sure that the deck I'm holding is the right deck, but everything inside of me is saying it is, so I am going to operate in trust. Feelings and emotions around your limits, what is contained you, confined you, shrunk you. This is your karma, your past. So you're dealing with childhood wounding. There is a bus picking up children across the street, so my dogs are interested in that. So limits and lessons, childhood, limits and lessons as a bus is picking up children. So childhood wounding, parental wounds, relational wounds, probably authority wounds early. What false beliefs keep this pattern alive? Grief, resentment, shame, abandonment, fears, things related to our survival identity is what the unresolved emotion is. So So the false belief keeping this pattern alive, the ego narrative or the coping myth is what I'm seeking with this card. It's transformation, pressure. I see obligation. Beliefs like I have to earn love, so I'm obligated to do these things in order to earn love. If I let go, I lose everything. I am safer when I am needed by others, so I must prove I am useful. This is like an intellectual lock on an emotional cage. The emotional cage, the intellectual lock. So ideas around obligation. One thing for me that I have found has helped me in dealing with my wounding around obligation and familial patterns has been to replace the word obligation with invitation and see how it changes how I feel about performing, doing the thing that is being asked of me. If when I change it to invitation, my answer is no, I don't. And if when I change the word to invitation, I feel good about it and feel light and it's a yes still, then I proceed. And that's how I balance that for myself, if that was helpful to anybody. What is the pattern quietly taking from them? It's leaving you feeling fragmented and torn. You're living in the past and now and in the future. And your future is being shaped by your past. The way this works, and the reason that being able to be here now in body and get out of this straddling world's energy is because our perception is shaped by what we tell it. It will scan the environment for what we tell it is important to us. So the more time that we spend thinking about, focusing on, and fixing our past instead of naming it, identifying the behavior within ourselves that harms us and moving on, the more time we spend thinking about it, the more we project our past onto now and make decisions from the past, which shapes our future based on the past. And we are at a point where we're being asked, like this is torn energy. This is torn energy divided. Fragmentation, trauma and pain that made us feel unsafe, insecure, and unstable in our relationships with others. A failure of another to protect us when we felt vulnerable. And the grief that surrounds that. And when we live from the past in that state of grief and pain, our decisions are shaped by grief and pain, and that creates situations and settings for grief and pain in the future. And that is what it is taking from you, is the future. It is shaping the future on your past. And then you are living a cycle of your past and never truly your future or even now. So that is the cost. It's trapped and being torn between worlds. And that is incredibly painful. There aren't words for the amount of grief and pain that I see in these cards. And I am not going to pretend to put them to another's experience. We all define our own levels of grief and pain. We define our own journey. But I cannot help but acknowledge that this day has carried an intense amount of pressure, pain, and sadness. This splitting of your soul is a very, very steep cost. This is self-betrayal. Ways that we have shrunk or reduced ourselves to conform or fit inside a box that we were always too big for. What must end or be surrendered to cross this threshold? Future thinking, not past thinking. So in your now moments, this is actively attempting to redirect when you catch yourself thinking about the past. It is using the knowledge that you have about your wounding, your shadow, and how it dictates your behavior to change the behaviors. It is taking time in your day to do small things that set you up for success in the future, such as staging your environment the night before for your morning. So when you wake up, you are not as scattered. Things are laid out and easy to find, and it reduces the cognitive load, right? And that is a love letter to your future self. Staging environments is really helpful for things like that. But you take small measures like that that protect your investment in your future. You set boundaries around people who speak ill over your future, who seed doubt over your future or your ability to accomplish things, or speak doubt over you or your very existence. You take measures to protect your future at all cost. But you have to surrender the past. Let us pause at the threshold to take in the view. We have felt what was ending and what truths asked to be faced. Change often carries grief alongside liberation. Before we take flight from here, to honor the grief that we are in, let's take a small audible breath and release it. We know its name. Hold. We let it go. Now, let's reveal the wings that you are forming. Who are they becoming beyond this pattern? When they shift their priority to protecting the future instead of healing the past, because you know what they did, you know what you did, you know who's responsible for what, you know where your memory and your perception was contorted and distorted. You know about conditioning and programming. Shadow card and the riddle tells me that you have done work with these. You're balking at the step. So who are they becoming beyond this pattern? The musician. You are mastering your own note. You are learning to trust your inspiration and live a life in gratitude for yourself, your accomplishments, what you create, what you've overcome, what you are capable of, and what is possible for you. What internal or external support is available to my viewer as they take this step and continue this journey towards their future? The future they envision, they author, they choose, because they are no longer orphaned or lost. They are not chosen because they were never orphaned. They're found. Support is available to them. your own experience and discernment at this point will guard you and protect you. Your determination, your will, your ambition, and your drive will protect you. You will also have others around you in spirit and in flesh who will guard your treasure as well. If you build it, they will come. Okay? If you build it, they will come. The only question I really want you to ask of yourself in this stage with this energy, along the lines of if you build it, they will come, is what if you can? Shift that lens from what if I can't, what if I don't, won't, to what if I can, what if I do, what if I will. And that will guard you through all of that, and then the universe will align the rest. What you are in action, that's why your thoughts and actions have to line up. You cannot manifest in cognitive dissonance. This is cognitive dissonance. This is cognitive dissonance. This is compression in cognitive dissonance, because you weren't designed to fit in a container. You weren't designed to be there long, be long. You were designed to adapt and move towards the future. So what if you can? What final message does their evolved self send back to them now? Final message. Sarah's evolved self want them to know. I love that the dragons came out for you, by the way. Also watch for a bird sign. The feathers on here indicate to me that birds might be serving as messenger for you. Cycles of the moon. I'm also seeing, with the sentinel, I'm also kind of seeing some, there's a javelin. There might be some correlation to something to do with the Olympics or an event where a boundary might need to be set with an individual or someone gathering. When something around a sporting event may be significant to somebody. But again, that's on imagery. What message does their evolved self send back to them? Their future self, their higher self. Playful, adaptable, resilient, aggressive as fuck, and fearless. That is an otter. Look up Amazon River otters. You will know when you are on your way, when you are feeling that kind of energy within yourself. And when you are facing things, if you match that kind of energy, you will be successful. Because you are in a current of energy that is carrying and sweeping you forward. You are separating yourself from an old timeline and moving into a new, being pulled into a new. You have learned your limits and lessons. And it is time to play. And nobody knows how to ride the currents more playfully than a dolphin or an otter. So you've got this. But you have to protect your future. You have to take that step and set those boundaries. The Phoenix Gate has opened. The fire has claimed truth. The ashes have been witnessed. The wings are forming. What you carry forward from this gate is yours to nurture, protect, and grow. Transformation is rarely loud. It is often quiet choices repeated over time. You are allowed to move at the pace your truth, your grief requires. Trust your psyche to know what to do. Your body knows. Thank you for crossing this threshold beside me. If this reading spoke to your journey, you are invited to share what resonates in the comments. Until the next gate summons.